Welcome to New Thought Deep Dive. Each week, we dive into a refresher on New Thought spiritual ideas that leave you thinking. Everything about this podcast, from the intro to the script and the presenters, is generated by AI. For more information, please visit newthoughtnexus.net.
I want to start today with a quick simulation in your head, just a little thought experiment.
Okay.
I'm with you.
So picture this. A good friend comes over, someone you really, really care about, and they are just distraught.
Yeah.
They've messed up. Maybe it was a huge project at work. They said something awful to their partner. They're just sitting there tearing themselves apart.
Oh, yeah. We've all been on both sides of that kitchen table. It's a tough spot.
It is. But here's the question. What do? What's your immediate reaction?
You lean in, try to help.
Right. You'd say, hey, listen, it's okay. You're human. You made a mistake. We offer that grace so easily.
We become their defense attorney, basically.
Exactly. We're their defense attorney.
Right.
But, and this is the paradox that really kicks off this whole discussion, why is it so hard to offer that same grace to the person in the mirror?
Yes.
Why is it that when we're the one who messed up, the defense attorney leaves and the prosecuting attorney walks in with a giant stack of evidence?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And honestly, if you can solve that, you solve, I don't know, a massive chunk of human misery.
Well, no pressure, but that's pretty much what we're going to try and tackle today.
Ambitious. I like it.
We are diving into week 3 of the class, the spiritual art of letting go.
And this is a big one.
It feels big.
Yeah.
We've talked about mental clutter. We've talked about denial. But now we're at what the source material calls the gate that is often the most rusted and difficult to open. We're talking entirely about self-forgiveness.
And I'm glad we're really digging into this because looking at the notes, this isn't just about, feeling better or letting ourselves off the hook.
No.
The source material frames this as a strategic requirement. You physically and spiritually cannot move forward if you're anchored to the ground by your own self-condemnation.
That really stood out to me too. The text uses this image of a backpack of invisible rocks.
Right.
We're walking around wondering why we're so tired, and we don't realize we're carrying 50 pounds of, I shouldn't have done that, from like 2015.
Or the other metaphor they use, which I thought was even more striking, the hot coal.
Oh, right. The hot coal.
It's just such a powerful image. The idea that we hold on to guilt because we think on some deep level that our suffering is paying for the mistake.
Like if I just burn myself enough with this, it'll fix the past.
Exactly. But the source is so clear. Holding a hot coal doesn't burn the past. It only burns the person holding it right now.
Ouch. That is vivid. But it's true, isn't it? We think our guilt is somehow productive.
We do. And the mission for this deep dive is really to debunk that idea.
Yeah.
We want to help you drop the coal. But to do that, we have to figure out why we picked it up in the first place.
And it seems like a huge part of the problem is just words. It's vocabulary.
Yes. Let's start there.
Because I think for a lot of us, the resistance starts with the language. You hear forgiveness or especially sin, and you immediately think of, I don't know, a courtroom.
Right. A judge, a gavel, some kind of eternal punishment. The subconscious frame is, I committed a crime, now I owe a debt.
And if you owe a debt, you have to pay. The suffering.
Precisely. But here is where the source material drops the first, just major aha moment. It goes back to the origin of the word sin.
Okay.
The original Greek word that was translated as sin is hamartia.
Hamartia. And that wasn't a religious word.
Not at all. It was an archery term.
An archery term. Okay, that is a wild pivot.
It is, but stick with me. Hamartia literally means missing the mark. That's all it means.
Missing the mark.
Think about an archer. They draw the bow, they aim for the bullseye, but maybe their stance is off or the wing kicks up, and the arrow lands in the outer ring. They miss the mark.
Okay.
Now, what happens then? Does the archer get arrested? Do they sit in the field for 10 years weeping about what a failure they are?
No, that would be absurd. They
They
grab another arrow.
They grab another arrow, they adjust their stance, they correct their aim. The remedy isn't punishment, the remedy is correction.
Wow. That takes all the morality out of it and turns it into a mechanics problem.
It does. It shifts us from seeing ourselves as criminals to just confused archers.
I love that.
Yeah.
But I have to play devil's advocate for a second.
Please do.
I can hear someone listening right now saying, okay, that's cute for, a typo in an email, but what about the big stuff? What if I really hurt someone? What if I made a mistake that cost my family a lot of money?
That's a completely fair pushback. And the source material anticipates that with another analogy.
The math analogy?
The math analogy, the 2 + 2 = 5 idea.
Right.
So the text says, think of God or the universe or whatever I want to call it, not as a judge, but as principle, like the laws of mathematics.
Okay.
So a student writes 2 + 2 = 5 on a chalkboard. In that moment, are the principles of mathematics angry? Is math offended?
No, of course not. Math doesn't have feelings. It just is.
Exactly. The student hasn't committed a crime against math. They've just miscalculated. They're in error. So what's the solution?
You erase the 5 and write a 4.
You correct the error. You don't beat the student. The student crying about the 5 doesn't make it turn into a 4. Right.
And the source says something really profound here. We often prefer the crying to the correcting.
Whoa. Say that again?
We prefer the crying to the correcting because feeling guilty feels like we're doing something. Look how bad I feel. I must be a good person for suffering so much. But the universe, like math, is just waiting for us to pick up the eraser.
So when we mess up, we're not evil.
No. The source uses a phrase I really like. We are confused archers seeking good.
Seeking good even when we do something bad.
I mean, usually, yeah, if you dig down deep enough, even with big mistakes, we were usually trying to get something we thought was good. Safety, love, relief from pain. We just used the wrong formula. We tried to get 4 by adding 2 and 3.
We saw it right thing in a wrong way.
Exactly. And when you see it that way, you can stop hating the you that made the mistake and start having compassion for the confusion that caused it.
That helps. But there's still that feeling of identity. Like, okay, I'm not evil, but I did this thing. It feels like it's part of who I am now. This is critical. This is the next step. The text suggests the core reason we can't forgive ourselves is we confuse who we are with what we did.
The two selves.
Right. On one hand, you have the human self, the I did self. It lives in time and space. It stumbles. It learns. It's the self that loses its temper.
The one writing 2 + 2 = 5.
Exactly. But then there's the true self, the I am. This is your spiritual identity, the image and the likeness of God. This self is whole, perfect. It's incapable of error. It's the part of you that remains untouched.
The notes use that analogy of the diamond in the mud.
Yes, it's perfect. A flawless, priceless diamond falls into a pile of thick mud.
Right.
It looks like a lump of dirt, but does the mud change the value of the diamond? Is the diamond now dirty on the inside?
It's still a diamond. It's just covered in mud.
Exactly. Self-forgiveness is not fixing a broken diamond. Your true self was never broken. It's just washing off the mud, the mistake, the experience.
Yeah.
That's the mud. It isn't you.
And that distinction is everything.
Mhm.
Because if I am the mud, I'm stuck. But if I'm the diamond, the mud is temporary.
Which brings us to the prodigal son.
Ah, the master lesson.
Yes, but the source highlights a detail we usually miss. The son takes his inheritance, blows it all, ends up in a pig pen, and comes home with this big apology rehearsed.
Right, he's ready to beg. He thinks his dad is going to be furious.
But what does the father do? The text points this out. The father didn't argue. He didn't wait for the apology. And here's the key. The father didn't even know the son was dirty.
Wait, what? He was literally covered in pig slop.
Metaphysically speaking, yeah. The father represents spirit, or the universe, and spirit only sees the diamond, not the mud. When the father looked at his son, he didn't see the rags or the failure. He just saw his son, home.
So all that shame, all that I'm unworthy, that was entirely in the son's head.
100%. The father was just holding the space for love. The son was the one delaying the welcome home party because he thought he needed to suffer first.
We think we have to pay an entry fee of suffering.
Yes. Which leads right into this whole idea of the myth of penance.
Right. If the universe isn't demanding we suffer, why are we so insistent on it?
Because we have this deep, deep belief that suffering pays a debt. If I beat myself up for 5 years about that thing I did, maybe I'll be square with God.
It's like a transaction. Paying for forgiveness.
But the source asks a really simple, logical question. If God is fullness and joy, what possible use could God have for your pain?
It's like trying to pay a billionaire with monopoly money.
Exactly. Suffering adds zero value to the universe. It doesn't fix the mistake.
Yeah.
And frankly, holding on to guilt is, well, it's kind of selfish.
Selfish? How so?
Because it keeps the focus entirely on you. I am so bad, look at me, what a failure. It's self-absorbed. If you really want to pay for a mistake, you do it by correcting the error and by being happy and helpful now.
Okay, but there is a real cost to this guilt, isn't there? The notes talk about static.
Yes. Think of your mind as a radio receiver. You're trying to tune in to the frequency of divine flow guidance, health, good ideas. But guilt is just loud, static interference.
So the signal is broadcasting, but I can't hear it over my own broadcast of I'm a failure.
Precisely. And it goes deeper. The law of correspondence says our outer world reflects our inner world. So if we subconsciously feel unworthy, we create conditions that match that feeling. We self-sabotage.
That's actually terrifying. My guilt from yesterday is actively creating more problems for me today.
Which is why releasing it isn't a luxury. It's a strategic necessity.
But hold on. Skeptic's hat on again.
Go for it.
There's a real fear here.
Yeah.
If I just drop the guilt and say, I'm a diamond, it's fine. Isn't that really arrogant? Don't I need the guilt to stop me from doing it again? Won't I just become a sociopath?
This is the biggest roadblock for so many people. And the source makes a crucial distinction here between guilt and remorse. They are not the same thing.
Okay, break that down.
Guilt is destructive. It's self-hatred. It looks backward and says, I am bad. It paralyzes you. Remorse is constructive. It's a healthy sadness that looks forward and says, I did something that caused pain and I want to do better.
So remorse mobilizes you, guilt freezes you.
Yes. And here's this beautiful idea from the notes, the emergent human. The source argues that the very fact you feel bad about a past action proves you have outgrown it.
How does that work?
Think about it. If you were still the person who was okay with doing that thing, you wouldn't feel bad about it. The you that feels remorse is on a higher rung of the ladder looking down at your past self.
So the pain isn't a sign that I'm a failure. It's a sign that I've grown.
Exactly. The pain is just the distance between who you were and who you are now, so don't punish the past self. Thank the current self for evolving.
That is a complete 180. The fact you feel bad proves you've outgrown it. I'm writing that down.
It turns pain into a milestone, not a sentence.
Okay. So we've redefined sin, we've identified the diamond, we see the cost of guilt. How do we actually do it? The outline talks about the mechanics of forgiveness.
Yes, and it starts with the word itself, forgive, to give for.
To give for. It's a trade, an exchange.
It is. It's a spiritual barter. You can't just create a vacuum in your mind by trying to stop feeling guilty. You have to replace the lower thought with a higher one.
So you give the truth of wisdom for the error of ignorance.
You give the image of the diamond for the image of the mud. You're actively trading up.
It's not passive letting go, it's actively grabbing onto something better.
Right. And the source gives us two very practical tools for this. The first is the statute of limitations.
I love this one. It's so logical.
It's applying a legal concept to your mind. In law, after a certain amount of time, a crime can no longer be prosecuted. The debt is considered paid.
Right.
So you do that in your own mind. You decide that the time for self-punishment is over. You say, I have regretted this for 5 years. That is enough. The statute of limitations is up. Case closed.
You literally dismiss your own case.
Yes. You sign the release papers, and when the old thoughts come back, you don't argue. You just say, sorry, that case has been dismissed.
That's powerful. What's the second tool?
The second is for daily maintenance, the mental bath.
Sounds nice.
It's simple hygiene. We wash our bodies every day to get off the physical dirt. We should do the same for our minds. At the end of the day, you just take a moment to wash off the day's mental dirt, the small mistakes, the judgments, the moments you missed the mark.
So you don't carry today's mud into tomorrow's clean slate.
Exactly. You acknowledge it, correct it, wash it off with the water of forgiveness, and go to sleep feeling innocent, ready to aim again tomorrow.
It's so simple, but I can see how that would change everything. Instead of replaying all your mistakes before you fall asleep.
It keeps the static down. It keeps the signal clear.
So we've gone from criminals in a courtroom to archers on a range.
That's the whole journey. From a story of crime and punishment to a story of learning and growth. We stop thinking of ourselves as sinners trying to be good and start remembering we are divine beings who just momentarily forgot our nature.
The one who knows.
Exactly. The one who knows that correction, not destruction, is the path.
My favorite takeaway is just the permission to be human while remembering we're divine. The pressure's off. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to keep adjusting my aim.
And remember that the mud has never, ever scratched the diamond.
That's the truth. Okay, so here's a final thought for you to take with you. We just talked about the statute of limitations. I want you to think of one specific crime from your past that you have been prosecuting yourself for. Maybe it's from last week, maybe it's from 20 years ago.
And ask yourself, has it served its time? Do you really believe the universe needs one more ounce of your suffering for it?
Exactly. Are you ready to sign those release papers today and walk out of that prison? Because the door isn't locked. It never was.
The Father is waiting, doesn't even see the rags.
Drop the hot coal. It's time to embrace the spiritual art of letting go. We'll see you next week for the final piece of the puzzle, non-resistance and trust.
You won't want to miss it. See you then.